Hey guys, welcome to Ride VIP, the rideshare channel. My name is Serge, and the reason you're hearing some echoes because my family is sleeping and I had to go to the bathroom in order to record this video. So I'm here sitting in the bathtub answering all your comments at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I wanted to thank you guys for actually writing comments this late. I did not expect it. But look at this comment that just came through, which I get a lot of these comments. It's almost like they don't watch the channel. They just like to, voice their opinions, which is fine, which is fine. But don't be blaming me for not calculating my math and stuff like that. But seems like there's a lot here. I have not read it yet. I want to just take it apart with you guys because I'm sure this is a lot of you guys feel the same way. And this is the reason I'm actually making this video. Wasn't really planning to make one. But anyways, Lee DeLuca writes to me, it doesn't matter how much you made. The question is, how many miles did you put on your car and how many hours did you work? I'm not talking about just online hours. You have to calculate all the time you spent if when you logged off to drive back to a desired, area, you grossed an average of 1164 per ride. That's an average of 2704 gross per hour of online time, which means you worked a minimum 20% to 40 more. Okay, so up until this point, I'll tell you this. This is an engineer writing this question or a future engineer because engineers overthink things and this is why they get like nothing done. They just keep thinking about it, keep thinking about it, keep thinking about it. I have this problem too, believe me, and I'm not an engineer. But the thing is, sometimes you can't overthink it. You just have to do it. If you keep thinking about what's right and get all the right percentages and get all the right numbers, what difference does it make if I make a few pennies more, a few pennies less? Makes no difference to me because guess what? Uber and Lyft, they're already socializing this whole platform. It's supposed to be capitalism here. We should be able to just get out there, hustle the hell out of the day, get all the money we possibly can. Instead, they're limiting the amount of money we could actually make on our side hustles. And by doing so, they're deciding, oh, let's pay this person $15 an hour, or maybe let's pay them 16 an hour. Oh, they made 20 per hour. Let's slow them down a little bit. So all of this little math you have right here, sir or ma'am, does not work because this is not realistic. We are contractors, and yes, we bring our own tools, which is a car. That's our tool to do the work. Yet, the contractors get to set their own rates, how much they want to get paid. We do not have control over how much we get paid. Therefore, we're glorified employees without no benefits. And here we try our best to cherry pick as much as we can. And obviously, there's not that many cherries going around, especially if a lot of cherry pickers are picking the cherries. But anyways, let's continue. Okay, even if I give you a conservative number of 20% more, that's about 53 hours. Okay, this is like a hustle. This is like not a 40-hour gig. It doesn't matter how many hours you work. The fact of the matter is you can work 12 hours, and if you want to make a lot of money, it's probably not for you. But if you are choosing Uber to make all your money, then you're going to have to try to use up as many of those hours as possible, even though we do not get time and a half like at a regular job. But here's what we do get. We get to write off every single mile on our taxes. Therefore, if you choose the standard mileage deduction, you get to write off everything. And when you do, you're going to pay little to no taxes. So the more hours you work, the more miles you put on your car, the more depreciation, the more you get to write off, the more money you make, even though it's not time and a half. But anyways, that's a gross of $22.62 an hour. Who cares? Who cares? Like, what if it's $22? What if it's 20 an hour? Today's gonna be 22, tomorrow's gonna be 23, next day is gonna be 40. Depending on which part of the week you're gonna work, you're gonna gross one or the other. Like for instance, I worked Friday, grossing $20 an hour basically. Gross, not net. I worked Saturday, I was doing like over 40. Sunday, still over 40. So what does that tell you? Some days are better than others. Friday sucked. Too many drivers out. Saturday, I guess not enough drivers. It was raining, at least where I am, raining really hard at that. And actually, I need to replace my windshield wipers motor because that just went out, and I actually just ordered it this morning. But anyways, my windshield wipers had to work overtime for 4 days straight. And of course, it was surging. I was getting paid ridiculous amount of money, and plus I was hitting my quest. But anyways, some people don't have the quest, so the hours will be different. That they have to work to make the same amount as me, or they might have to work less if the area has less drivers and they're getting paid even more. But anyways, after taking into account what it costs you to make that 22 an hour, you're looking at net of about 11 to 14 per hour. Stop lying to yourself by saying you made X amount per hour. Well, obviously, sir or ma'am, you don't listen to my videos. I just about always state that is gross. You can just look at the mileage. I mean, excuse me, you cannot just look at the fuel cost alone. You have to look at the mileage, and the mileage will depreciate your car. So I actually stated this in the beginning of some of my other videos that if you are using a brand new car, the cost to you is going to be much greater than it is to me. Let's say you have even like an economical car. Let's choose a Tesla. You have an economical car, you charge it at home, you're doing everything correctly. I'm still gonna make more money than you. You know why? Even though I got a premium car, at the X platform, like mine does not even qualify for premium rides, for comfort rides when it comes to Uber, or luxury when it comes to Lyft. It does not qualify. But you know why I will make more money? Because my cost of depreciation is so much less than yours. And you might be screaming, yelling, but how? Depreciation is depreciation. No, it's different for everybody. So a luxury car, let's just compare it to a used car. Used luxury car, used economical car. The depreciation is going to be different. Of course, the luxury car will depreciate even more than a regular used car, especially if you compare, let's say, like a BMW to a Toyota. Toyota is probably going to hold its value a lot longer because they're reliable, while BMWs are not, and that's what I drive. And obviously, yeah, it will depreciate. Okay, so we're talking depreciation. That's how much you buy the car for. But guess what? What if I bought my BMW used? And that's exactly what I've done. And I paid $2,500 for it with 193,000 miles on the car at that time. Most of you would probably not even take that risk and buy a car with that many miles. However, I bought it knowing that the car had a mechanical issue because I'm a risk taker. I bought it and I actually figured out what's wrong with it right in the parking lot. So that was a win for me. Um, if the car is $2,500, but normally it's a $60,000 car, then what depreciation are we even talking about here? If you're talking about like maintenance, well, I do all my own maintenance. I just buy the oil, get the filter. Okay, do it. If you're talking about mechanical, I did not have to deal with anything mechanical yet. I replaced, the car had a mechanical issue, which was an oil cooler line leaking. Oil cooler line. Okay, well, BMWs leak oil all the time, but this time it was leaking really bad. But guess what? Recently I popped the hood. Guess what else is leaking? My overflow tank is leaking. My valve cover seals are leaking. The Mickey Mouse oil seals are leaking. There's a lot of oil being leaking. But do you think I care? I care not. I don't care. I'm going to wait till it gets really bad and then I'll worry about it. Do I recommend that you do that? No. Make sure you service your car properly. But you know what's going to happen to my car? I'll run it to the ground. I already have 250,000 miles in the car. So I already put basically, well, 240, 242. So I almost put 50,000 miles on it. And I put that money basically after buying it in February. I didn't even drive it. I started using it after I returned the Tesla in like August. So at the end of August, I started using it up until now. So August is the 8th month, so 4. So it looks like in 6 months, I put 50,000 miles on it. So that's about right for me doing part-time. And guess what, guys? In case you are wondering how much money I've made last year when it comes to Lyft and Uber, well, I made over $100,000 between Uber and Lyft. So speaking of depreciation, guess what? I've done it all with a BMW and partly with the rented Tesla, which I was kind of losing money but making money at the same time. But it doesn't even matter. When you have a used car, you pay the used price for it. Just make sure if you're doing it like me and you buy a used car and you're a risk taker and you're just running it to the ground like me and you replace it when it needs to be replaced, just keep setting some money aside. We make enough sometimes in a 2 weeks period, just let's just say 2 weeks. After all expenses, I have enough money to buy another BMW just like that one. And guess what? The next BMW I buy, I don't know. Maybe it's got like, I don't know, maybe it's been in an accident. Maybe somebody hit it in the two doors on the side. So the car is salvaged, but my car is a clean title. Maybe the other car has lower mileage, but who cares? My engine, let's say, goes out of transmission or rear end. Guess what I'm doing? I'm pulling that engine or transmission or rear end from that other car. So if I spent on that type of car $2,500, you know how many parts I have in that BMW now that's worth like thousands of dollars? A lot. So I'm not going to be going to the car dealer to try to keep buying all these new parts. That would be just stupid for a BMW. One injector could cost you like $1,000, and there's six of them. So you have to be smart about it, and don't be thinking about all these numbers to try to be exactly correct, because you're never going to be exactly correct. You cannot overthink this. You either put the time in or you don't. If you're getting out there and you like, look, I have to drive like 1 hour to go to work, 1 hour back. If I lived in Charlotte, I would be even better off. But I'm not. I don't live in Charlotte. I don't want to live in Charlotte. I live by the lake. And I own my home, and it's like my taxes are low here in South Carolina. I get to actually enjoy my life. There's no mortgage, there's no rent. I own it. And if I need to go to Charlotte, I go to Charlotte. Yeah, that's a commute. No problem. That's a commute I'm willing to make. Did I sign up to do Uber forever or Lyft? No, I do it on the weekends when it makes sense, or I do it every single day of the week when I have a goal in mind. And right now I have a certain goal, and when I reach it, I will tell you what that goal was. But last goal was, which was this year, I was working on trying to build my own garage slash shop slash warehouse. Still working on a goal, but something slightly better, but along those lines. And I just don't really want to jinx it. So either way, I'm gonna make a good plan. But I need to be able to make as much money with expediting. I mean, excuse me, expediting, driving Uber, Lyft as much as possible, because there's something else I'm working. I'm always working on something. Okay, now let's go here. So, okay, stop lying to yourself by saying you made X amount per hours. Start saying that you grossed X amount per hour. That is obvious. I'm giving you a screenshot of my gross amount. Like, please, do not think that's net. That is always gross. If you have a car that's economical, your gross, I mean, your net is going to be different than my net. So it doesn't even matter. Like, you're trying to over here count my money when you really should be counting yours. It doesn't matter if you made 100 per hour, if it costs you 99 to make it. First of all, it doesn't cost me that much. Okay, look, we'll get back to that comment. Look at all the stuff I write down, okay? Now today, I did not write down the mile start and finish, but the start would have been 24,000 right here towards the end, right here. See that? 241,127. That would have been the start. But let's take a look at the fuel cost for this many miles. So let's just look at this. Let's see if we could just figure this out without doing the math. That's like roughly 320 miles, let's just say. 320 miles cost me $54. That's not bad. And that was the 11. Let's see. Let's just look at what this was. Because it's okay, what is that one? That was Saturday. Saturday I did $480. it doesn't show this correctly because Saturday went into Sunday. That's why Sunday looks bigger than it really is. Oh, finally, I get to take the screenshot. This was not loading. Wait a minute, let's see. 397. Okay, so basically Saturday I worked exactly 12 hours and I made $480. And just take my word for it. That's exactly what I made. And today I've made I think like $200, but I work like 8 hours or something. But that's on the app, 200. Like it says 209, but I think it's like more like 200. Plus I made a $20 cash tip. But here it is. There's the fuel. Look, $54 in fuel, 47, 49. I'm just writing daily. This was like the Tesla income. Fuel 38, fuel 49, fuel 44, fuel 37, 51, 51, fuel 43, fuel 51. I even write down when I top off, see, 754. Right here, fuel 54, fuel 53. Sometimes I write the income, what I actually made. Sometimes I don't because it's less important because I'm writing down all of these miles for my taxes. And the fuel, technically, I don't need to write down. I just write it down from my own notes. That's about it. But let's get back to this comment because I get these like so much. It's like I'm thinking like, are you guys like not even watching my videos to see like I explain to you? Of course, that's gross. You gotta figure out your own net. If you got an economical car, you're gonna have economical net. If you got a brand new car, you're depreciating the car every single day. In a single year, you could put like easily if you hustle, 149,000 miles, easy. At the very minimum, it's gonna be like 90 to 100,000. So at the end of the year, the car is no longer new. So before even purchasing a new car, go ahead and look up that car with 100,000 miles on it, because that's what you're gonna have at the end of the year, and buy the car with 100,000 miles versus buying a car with no miles, because that is a depreciated car and you're paying an appreciated price of a car that's brand new when it's going to depreciate in the year, because then you'll have to deduct that amount of depreciation, which is easy to calculate. Let's just say, for the argument's sake, if the car you're buying is 50,000 brand new, but you put 100,000 miles on it, now it's worth 30,000, you just lost $20,000 in a single year. So yeah, then you could calculate like this. You take like $20,000 like this, right? And you divide it by 365. That will tell you that daily your car is depreciating $54. So if additionally it costs you $55 in fuel, your car is depreciating at $109 per day. Pretty easy math here. You don't really need to overthink it. But if you got a used car, the numbers change, because a used car might have a very expensive maintenance bill. But if you treat it correctly and you buy a used car to fix a used car, and I'm not saying that always can be the case. Like you could have bought like a used car and you need, let's say, struts and shocks. Well, the used car probably has really bad struts and shocks unless they were recently replaced. So that might not work out for you really well. Or bearings. Maybe the bearings are already bad because it's got the mileage on it. But you never know. Okay, so what else? You keep saying you made because you don't want to admit that Uber is exploiting you. Of course I admit Uber is exploiting me. It's not only exploiting me, it's exploiting you and everybody else on this platform. Therefore, I'm making these videos to make it known instead of calling Uber and complaining. Because look, first of all, they don't care. Second of all, if you keep complaining to them, guess who's getting kicked off the platform? Probably going to get kicked off. They're not going to want to deal with it. And that is obvious. So it's like, out of millions of drivers, does your voice really matter? No. And when they give you these little quizzes, oh, how are we doing? What can we change? It's all bullshit. Like if you put down your concerns, you think you're going to be heard? No. They are working in order to, I guess, appease, or whatever the correct word would be, like, for their investors. They want to be sure the investors are making money because they invest a bunch of money into the company, and somehow a bunch of idiots at Uber, like, they're losing money. How the heck can you keep losing money when you're not even spending any money to operate? Like like when it comes to fuel and everything else. Like there's no additional cost. Imagine if Uber had to maintain every single car and everything like that. Like they will go out of business already, like a long time ago. So we're paying Uber basically to work. They're making 60%. We're making maybe 40% of each ride. That's the usual. And somehow they're still managing to lose that money. It's like, okay, stop hiring. Stop getting all of these extra people. Stop keep inventing new ways of screwing us over because that also costs money. And stop investing in all of this new AI technology to replace drivers in the future because that's exactly what they're trying to do. If they could find a way to have self-driving cars and implement that technology, which that's where they're headed because they want to replace us with Teslas pretty much, that's where they're going. This is where all the money's going. Amazon done something similar. They were losing money for a while until they weren't. And then they're making money. So that money is really not being lost. They're just lying to us that it's being lost. It's being reinvested. Or they're a bunch of idiots that's losing money. Like, I don't understand. It's like, it's kind of like almost like you have like a couple that just got married, right? And he's working and she's working. They got to pay bills. But they're, let's say like, I don't even know. Like, let's just say their home is paid for, you know, and they still broke. And they're ultimately going to end up being homeless. I don't know, like, if that makes any sense, but it's kind of like Uber doesn't really have any real asset except us, the drivers. That's the asset. We have the cars. They don't. The driver is in full control. The only reason they have any money at all is because the driver's out there doing all the work. If we stopped driving for a month, I mean, the company would go like broke because they're so overinflated. They have like way too much staff. They keep trying to monitor everything and spending all that money like on stupid stuff and giving himself a bunch of bonuses. Okay, so what else? What else we have here? Um, you keep saying, mate, because you don't want to admit Uber's exploiting you. You can make better money working a minimum wage job. No, no, you can't. That's just stupid. Some days it's minimum wage, some days you're making money. So don't work the days that you're making minimum wage. Then you can drive Uber X. At least with minimum wage job, you would have health insurance and benefits. Not to mention far less stress than driving a car. So you have far less stress when a boss is breathing down your neck for minimum wage? I doubt it. Can you watch Netflix at your job? I doubt it. Can you listen to your music? I doubt it. Can you take phone calls? I doubt it. Can you run another business while you're at work, working minimum wage? You cannot. So even if this job's minimum wage, you have free time to do whatever the heck you want. But wouldn't it be better if we could also make good money doing Uber while we're doing something else? I mean, we shouldn't have to do anything else, but we do have a lot of freedom when it comes to being Uber driver or Lyft. But that is just our freedom. I mean, we're using our own car, we're contractors. That is our freedom. So we have the freedom to sit around and do nothing and not put on no hours in. Instead, watch Netflix at home and listen to music, or we could do it from our cars. And we could actually build a business. And I'm sure lots of drivers have built businesses, like just from doing Uber on the side and just working on their business on the side. And that's kind of like what I'm doing. Okay, let's see. Not to mention far less stress than driving a car. Okay, well, some people get stressed from driving. I do not. Rideshare driving is a scam. Why do you think IRS allows drivers to write off 65.5 cents per mile if the government allows drivers to write off 65.5 per mile? You know that in reality it costs more than per mile to operate a car. We know this because IRS doesn't do any favors. AAA says it costs an average to operate a car of 73 per mile, fuel, tires, insurance, loan payments, interest on car, loan breaks, etc. That's the real everything. Okay, I do agree with you on the 33% of the bottom portion because this is logical. This is true. We do not even get paid enough per mile according to the ride offers we're getting. I mean, look at these ride offers. Look at these silly ride offers. Look at that. Let's say that like 8 miles for 378. 378, let's do this. It's like 47 cents a mile. So I could keep calculating this. That's 47 cents. Let's see. 366 divided by 6. Let's see. That's 61 cents. You see how like all of this stuff is extremely different? Look at this trip. Let's just take this for instance. So that's like 28, that's 30, 36, 37 miles basically. 17, 19. 46 cents a mile. You see, like that's 46. There's 46, there's 47, there's 61. You know, every time they're making up all these numbers. So that's 353 divided by, let's say like, I just say 5. It's close enough. That's like 70. 658, let's see, let's just say that's 8, that's 12. So 658 divided by 12. 54 cents. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. IRS does not give anything away. This is why we need to be smart and we need to see if we could just go ahead and write off 65.5 cents while using the most optimal car, whatever that is for you, because we all have different skill level. Some of us, maybe we're good at finding the most economical car, the most economical maintenance. Maybe the car that just needs oil changes and tire changes, brakes, the car just doesn't break down. Like it's just really, really good car. And maybe that's going to be a car for you. Then, you know, you buy the car used, you know what the car will do. You don't have any payments on that car. You know how long it's going to last. Maybe it's a 300, 400,000 mile car. Like, you know, it just lasts that long. And you bought a car with like, let's say like 100,000 miles for $5,000. Perfect. You'll get that money back in like a month and then some. And then for years to come, the car's paying you. Instead of buying that same car for 40,000 and now it just depreciated 20,000 the last year. So now it's kind of like you still owe 20 on it while you can possibly only sell the car for like 17. And I mean, like what I'm trying to say is like, actually I said it like a little bit wrong, but that doesn't matter. So what I meant to say is like you owe 40 grand, you bought it for 40 grand. In a year, you owe, let's say 30, but you could only sell it for 20. Like that's what I meant to say. You're losing lots of money with that. But anyways, yeah, like I totally agree. We should not be getting paid even like 65.5 cents because that will just make us break even. If we're getting paid below that, we're basically paying Uber to have a job. And at least we need to be getting like 73 cents. This is why I'm saying always no. This is no, 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 no. I made a video earlier. This is bunch of no's right here. Because even though this will do nothing, like this is called cherry picking. It doesn't really work. Yes, occasionally I'm gonna see one that's gonna work for me. That's not always the case. Sometimes I'm cherry picking the hell out of it and nothing good comes out of it. All I do is waste time. When I could have taken another ride, and eventually I'll still end up making like 18, 19, 20,000 hour gross. Now if I hit a bonus, that brings it up sometimes about $30, sometimes $40 or more per hour. Now that's different. Now, if you work every single day, that average will go down by a lot. Maybe like more like $18 to $19 an hour gross. But if you work in the weekend, the average goes actually up. You're probably going to be making anywhere from $20 to $25 an hour. Maybe even 30 or above. It all depends. Because the weekend, you know, they pay better. But these days, it's kind of hard to make money with Uber. I don't know what it is, but I mean, they're saying it's good economy, but like everything's going up, including the rides, the food, the cost of living, the cars. People don't have enough money left over, so they're not even tipping us that well. And plus, Uber is not paying us that well. So it's kind of like we can work more hours while not getting compensated for the overtime that we worked. Yet we have to if you have lots of application, lots of bills. So in order to actually make any kind of money with Uber, I mean, I'm a family guy. Like I have a wife, I have 3 kids. I minimized all my expenses, and I'm not like anybody like super smart or whatever. Like I don't have like I'm talking about like I don't have a special education where I could go out there and get a white collar job. Now I could build a white collar business that is different. But most likely I'm gonna be building a blue collar business, like not a white collar. But I'm just saying I can, let's say I become like a real estate agent or something. That's pretty much a white collar business. I could become like a commercial real estate agent, whatever. Like I don't really do anything physical, like everything's mental. And we have people in our cars every single day. That's pretty much a sales job. And you could make like tons of commission and nobody's really limiting you like at anything. You could sell as many houses as you want. Like if you're a really good salesman, you could sell as many as you want. And I'm considering that. But I'm also a car guy and I like to deal with cars. To me, that's relaxing. I don't have to make a lot of money with cars, but anyways, I have a lot of cars and I have a lot of plans. But anyways, I don't want to be talking too long on this, but I hope this kind of like explains it. I don't have my head in the clouds. I think about depreciation, but there's only so much you can think about when it comes to depreciating your asset when the asset has been already depreciated. This is why I always bought a depreciated asset. My house is used and it was abused, so I got it for very cheap. Same thing goes for my cars. If I was to buy a brand new, freshly built house, especially in today's economy, I'm gonna be like overpaying like crazy. Then I'm gonna be like working like a slave. Same thing like for the car. If I would have ended up buying a Tesla, which man, I'm telling you, I almost did it again. I almost bought a Tesla because I think we're just a lot of times it's hard to control our emotions. And I'm thinking like, well, I want it. Like I really don't need it, but like I want it. And because I don't have all these other great expenses and I know I could afford it, I want to get it. But then I stop myself and I'm like, no, I'll slap the shit out of myself. Boom. Get back in that seat. You don't need to be getting that debt. I don't have any debts now, and it's like there's no need to be getting in debt because debt makes you a slave to the lender. Just remember that. This is all modern slavery. And here's the thing, guys. I go out here and I work for these bullshit rates, right? Sometimes they piss me off. But you know what puts a smile on my face? Knowing the fact that I don't have to do this. If I decide not to go to work the next month to Uber, I'll be just fine. If I don't want to work 2 months, I'll be just fine. Because I am not living life above my means. I actually live way below my means. For somebody that makes as much money as I do, you know how much my bills are, guys, every single month, like not including food? You might be thinking I'm lying. Maybe I am lying. So let me just calculate. So my electricity right now, because it's heating and stuff, and my home is like not that big. It's like 900 square feet, so I'm not living large. So normally my electricity is like little over 100. So let's say it's 200. My phone bill is pretty expensive, 350. My car insurance is, wait a minute. Okay, so that added that. My car insurance is 75. So that's 625. I had a gym membership which was 75 at YMCA. I don't have any more. I had Carowinds Gold Passes plan, which was like I think like $40 a month. I don't have that anymore. Oh yeah, my water is about like 45. We don't have much grass and we do some water, but not that much. So that's like 670. What else do I have as far as bills goes? So I said electricity, I said water, I said car insurance, and I said like my oh my gosh, I cannot even think. But anyways, I mean it's like right at $700. There might be something else that I'm not thinking of, but like that's it. It's utilities, my phone. I don't have home internet, but I have like lots of lines on my phone plan. That's why my phone plan's so expensive. But technically, a worst comes to worst, I could just get rid of my phone service. Just get rid of it. Like that'll be like minus $350. Boom. If I don't want to have a car anymore, I could just get rid of my car. Boom, no more car. I just have like 313 left on electricity and water. Maybe you know, I mean, what's it take to make $313? That's like not a lot. But anyways, I also have to have food, obviously. But since I make over $100,000 a year um, from Uber and Lyft, and I'm not even kidding you guys, I'm making like Uber and Lyft put together, I think it's like right at like 92, 93,000. The rest of it is my other side hustle, not including any of the other stuff. But stuff that I get 1099 done, it's over 100,000. So basically, this allows me to be able to do whatever the heck I want. Like if I want to splurge and stuff, I can, but I choose sometimes to splurge, and I've talked about that before. And I can do that because I'm not overextended. It's the wants that get me. Like, but then I have to think sometimes I'm thinking like, well, I can afford it, but do I really need it? Like, no, I don't need it. I live by the lake. I could just go fishing every day. Like, do I really need a Tesla for that? Like, do I need a Tesla to go to work? Like, I don't go to work. There is no work. Uber is my work, if you could consider that work. But also, I'll tell you something, and I know feels like it's dragging on. Because I like cars and because I do like driving, this is like a perfect job for me where I could just get out there and drive. I actually enjoy driving. Part of the reason why I like to drive my BMW with the N54 engine. It's fast, it's exciting to drive, beautiful sound, not extremely fast car. It's just a 337 horsepower, 337 torque car. It's not like built to performance or anything, but it's a fun car, which is completely stock. It's a 5 Series. It's enjoyable to drive. If I had a car that's kind of slow, it would not be as enjoyable. It would feel more like a job. And my BMW does not feel like a job. Have my iPad in the middle. Some days I'm binging on Netflix. Some days I'm binging on YouTube. Some days I'm just listening to music, and I could do that. But I noticed, regardless of what I do, if I'm playing a movie, actually I'll probably get tipped a little bit more. But like, I usually don't play YouTube videos with passengers. I play just music. And I noticed, even though it's like nice, peaceful music, like, I mean, not like just like peaceful, like boring. Like I'm talking about like nice, good like fun music, like not like crazy rock band or anything. Like just something that just sets the mood. Still, tips they don't come in, and they won't. So it doesn't really even matter if I'm over there like watching a movie. Most likely, the tips not gonna change. So when I say like watch a movie, don't be over there like staring at the screen. Like I just basically have it to where it's on and it's engaging. I'm hearing kind of like what's being said, and that's enough. And I'm talking about like not like a movie, but like a series, like a TV series where it's not too much action. So it's just a lot of talking. So that keeps me engaged and it makes the time go by quicker. And it's something I would watch at home anyways. Like I would just binge it. Instead, I just got paid for it. It's just when I'm Ubering, I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. Like treat that sort of like a vacation, if you could say that, while making the money. And at the same time, sometimes turn everything off. I'm just driving around brainstorming, and I'm making videos as well and posting them pretty much at the same time while I'm working, which still takes a lot of work, but I'm still able to do that. But anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for talking, and You, Lee DeLuca, do not take me the wrong way. I get this comment all the time, like yours. I don't see nothing wrong with your comment, but what I do see wrong with it is that lots of people, they don't finish watching my videos and they assume that I have my head in the clouds and I don't think about all these expenses. If I did not think about expenses like this and the depreciation, I would have not be where I am today. And just to let you know, or anybody else that have any concern, I've been expediting since 2007, mainly for 80 cents a mile. And to give you an example, I used to get trips from Michigan to Kentucky, 500 miles, and you would think it would be $500. No, $400. That's how much I would get paid. You know what it would cost me in fuel? $100. So it takes me 10 hours to do that trip. I just make $300. Plus, on the way, I'm stopping, I'm buying coffee, I'm buying energy drinks, I'm buying food, and the money keeps going down. So guess what? I'm so used to driving long hours, and 10 hours is not long. I've driven 36 hours straight before. I've driven like all the way to Edmonton, Alberta from North Carolina. Like they said, I cannot even sleep. It was a really hot shot. So me and my wife, we drove together. She was just sitting by me. So we were just like talking the whole entire time. And the time goes, but still, you get tired as shit, obviously, doing that type of distance, and it's dangerous. But little vans, they're not regulated, like Mercedes Sprinter vans. They're not regulated by the DOT because they're under 10,000 pounds. The truckers, they get regulated. They cannot be doing that without no logbook or a partner. But either way, my wife, she had a driver license and she had the ability to drive as well. But I actually felt better off driving because I cannot sit next to somebody when somebody else is driving. That's gonna actually cause me to go to sleep. I much rather do the driving and sit with my best friend, my wife, and talk to her, and we looking all the stop and doing all the sightseeing and stuff like that. It was real fun. But the reason I brought this whole topic up, I was being told back then that I had my head in the clouds, like, oh, depreciation, this and that, 80 cents, you're not gonna make the money. But guess what? 2012 had nothing. Bought the van for payments from a buddy of mine. By 2015, I buy this property. I buy the property next door. 3 more years passes, I start buying cars. And 8 years later, from the whole process of me buying this home, now, my home's fixed up. I mean, still needs lots of work. There's always improvements that need to be done. But I have, 33 cars and I have a lot of other assets as well. And I did it all with having my head in the clouds. So that just tells you this. That's a joke, by the way. That's people assuming from the sidelines I have my head in the clouds. Because they're like, well, how can you make any money with that type of low income? Because, like I always said, and I'll say it again, it's so obvious. You heard it before, but I feel like it needs to be said. It's not how much you make, it's how much you spend. And that's what really counts. So look at actually your income. Like, stop thinking about all this depreciation. Think about this. You worked last year, right? You just got your 1099s back. You see how much money you made. Look back and look. Did you buy anything new with that money? Or did you just pay that money in bills? If you don't know where that money went, you need to overthink your strategy. I can't say I know where every little dollar went, but I'm looking around like, oh yeah, I bought that car last year, I bought that car last year, this car, bought these tools over here, I invested some money over there, I built this, I financed that, like, for my like projects and stuff. I'm not talking about like finance from the bank. I financed it with my money, not bank's money. Just so you know what I'm talking about. So I see the results. Plus, I vacationed. I bought car parts. I bought gadgets. I bought lots of stuff. And I see where my money's at. Like, and every year I always improve my situation. I don't go backwards. And, and gosh, this video should have been over, but I want to tell you this because this just got on my mind. And this probably should be a whole video in itself. But I had a business meeting just the other day. It was yesterday. Well, it was Saturday. But anyways, the guy was offering me, oh, let's see. He says minimum I would make 35 to 50 an hour minimum. It could be more. And I said no. Because guess what? He was limiting me and my abilities. I am overqualified for that job. And I said to him, listen, here you are offering me this or that. I'm doing all the work. You're financing everything, basically. What is there to stop me from financing myself and getting all the profit? Because if I tell you just the numbers, I think this is kind of like partly the problem with me. If you would have told me like per hour what I'm getting paid, I would think about it. I would say, okay, like that's a job per hour, da, da, da. Maybe that makes sense. But as a business-minded person, it goes like this. He's like, okay, let me make this example for you. So, okay, I'm gonna buy this car. I'm gonna basically finance it. You fix the car, I buy all the parts, then we deduct all the parts and the car price. Whatever's left, we split three ways. Okay, so I get a third, he gets a third, his business gets a third. So he just double dipped. Now, to make matters worse, he's like, well, these cars are salvage. It's logical to assume that the car's value is only 70% of its initial Blue Book value of, whatever the current Blue Book value is. So you sell it 70% below market. So he just makes that assumption and pays me according to that assumption, the third of the price, which ultimately ends up being like this. Could be the numbers. And he's expecting that a car that you fix, which the numbers are just about correct. If I buy a car that's salvaged from an auction and I fix it, usually the profit is $3,000. So that means if I just fix the car, I get $1,000 and he gets $2,000. He expects that I could fix 2 cars like that per week because I know what I'm doing and he knows what I'm doing. So he's thinking that, oh, well, you could do 2 cars a week and you'll make $2,000 and in 32 hours. Like somehow he assumes it's only going to take 32 hours. And I'm thinking like, okay. So he's comparing my income to Uber's income. Like he's saying like, that's going to be way more income. I said, buddy, like Uber for me is just like a side hustle. Like this is a way for me to relax. This is a way for me to watch some YouTube videos or Netflix. This should not be compared with. I make over $100 an hour if I charge for my mechanic services for Mercedes Sprinter diesels. I specialize in them. I'm just choosing not to do it right now because I need a shop. I'm tired of doing this work outside. And people drive to me from all over the country to bring the vents to me. They're begging me to look at their vents because nobody could figure them out. But I can because I know how to diagnose vehicles properly. So I told him like, why should I make a third of the price on every single deal? I understand. If I do this at your location, at your shop, I will understand if a third could go towards the shop because you do gotta pay your bills. A third gotta go to you because you are a businessman. You do need to make some money. Of course, after all the expenses, he's just getting clear profit. And a third to me. But the next deal should be 50-50. After he gets his money back for the expenses, he should get half and I should get half. That would be the logical solution. So you know what I told him? I said, listen, it's like you're a loan shark, but I even owe you even more money than a loan shark. At least with a loan shark, if the interest rate is like 10 or 15%, that's all I pay. But literally, I would pay so much greater amount than that. It's crazy. So I'm like, well, why would I need you? I have my own cars. Like, he keeps trying to convince me that I should work for them because it's better than Uber. Better than Uber. I'm like, this is way harder work. Way harder. And he's like, well, you could only work 3 days for me and the rest of them for you. And I'm like, just like you're doing for Uber. You'll make more money than per hour. Like, that's a no-brainer for him. I'm like, why would I do that? So it means you're telling me I'm going to work super hard for you. use all my energy, and remaining energy that I have left, I need to work as hard for me at my shop. Then why don't I just work at my shop to begin with? And all I have to do is have a little bit of patience and just build my own shop, buy my own shop, or rent my own shop. Simple. I have everything else and I have the skills. So I said, how about this? I don't have a shop. How about this? You're offering me a third. How about this? I give you my cars to fix. You fix them with your guys at your shop. I'll actually give you a better deal. I'll give you 50%. He's quiet. He's not saying anything. Well, anyways, somehow the meeting dragged on for 3 hours. It did not need to be that long, but we were in the restaurant talking, eating food, some steak and stuff, but like that to me does not make any sense. But Uber income does make sense because, first of all, it doesn't take a lot of effort. If you're smart about it and you do it just right, this depreciation, what IRS has, you'll pay way, 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 way less. But the cool thing is, you're being put in the same exact, how should I say it, like exact situation or position that everybody else is in. But if you're smart and you don't have all those payments and you don't have all this different stuff, and you just buy a used car that's depreciated, just good enough to work for Uber, then you're gonna be way better off, my friend. Way better off. It's just when you do buy a used car, I mean, you just have to know, like, you either need to know how to work on it or know somebody that does, or buy a car that does not break down. You know, you cannot go wrong with a Toyota or a Honda. Like cars like Nissans that I buy, they have lots of problems, but I like Nissans. But then again, I'm a risk taker, and if you're not willing to take a risk, then don't do it. But with great risk comes great reward. But anyways, thank you guys for listening. What a long video. I'm really sorry about that, but hopefully you got some value out of it. Well, take care, guys. Bye-bye.